Hey everyone, welcome to Z's Bees. Today I'm going to be doing a check of a nucleus colony that I'm trying to see if they requeen themselves, and if they haven't, I'm going to combine them with a very strong swarm that I had caught. They're about a single box down here, and I really want to boost them up. So if they have not requeened themselves, I'm going to do a newspaper combine. Essentially what I'll do is I'll add another deep box to this, and I'll move these 10 frames over to this hive over a sheet of newspaper. I'll cut a few slits in there, and then essentially they will, the time it takes for them to get rid of that newspaper, they'll get used to the pheromones and they'll combine. So we're going to dive right into it. We're going to start with this one to see if they have a queen. If they have a queen, we're going to let them be, and we'll probably just add a second box to that and they can grow out. If they don't have a queen, I'll really check hard for that to make sure that they don't. Then I'll combine them. So here we go. Right now we are in the midst of a very strong linden or basswood nectar flow. So the population in here continues to be pretty good. It's just that they haven't seemed to be able to produce a queen. So let's see what we're working with. This feels like a frame of nectar that they were given. Okay, these are pretty calm. It's actually kind of a cool day here. Last day of June. It was only about 55 degrees this morning, but it's supposed to get up to the 70s. Yesterday it was close to 90. So let's see, this hive. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of brood here, but again, I had a queen in there. She was not very good. And I'm not seeing any eggs on this frame. It's been left long enough that any new eggs would be from a new queen. All this existing brood is getting ready to hatch out, and that was from a previous queen. There. I think the bottom box is going to really be the one that I want to check. And I'm not seeing any eggs in this one. This will be the perfect hive to combine. So I'm actually going to pop this box off, set this aside. This is a food frame. No eggs, barely drawn out. I don't see any eggs in here, and that's pretty indicative of no queen. Over. So we didn't find any queen in this hive. There's still some capped over brood that was left over from a queen that just wasn't producing well. And what I mean by that is over the course of weeks, there was just maybe 1 or 2 frames of brood. And just she moved around like either she had an injured leg, but essentially she was replaced. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to combine them with this swarm hive over here that has a really good queen that came with the swarm. She's laying out a whole bunch of frames, so we'll get into that and then we'll do a combine. So I got my newspaper here handy and we'll show you how that's done. All right, so we're gonna get into this hive. Looks like I took the top cover with me. Let's just pry that out. And I can see already they're building some burr comb or some bridge comb. I think they're ready for another box. So let's set this right here. Double check on some of these. Okay, just like we thought. So we got some capped over brood there. Nice calm bees. And all the open cells there, there's eggs and larvae, and then a little bit of capped over brood. So that is good. So we got one frame. Here's another, and there's our big queen right on the bottom, right here. She looks good and healthy. You guys spot her? Okay. All right, so we're going to move her back in there. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to take one of these frames of food. I'm sorry, I'm going to close these ones up. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is simply lay this sheet of newspaper over. Okay, now I'm going to take a razor. I'm going to cut just a couple holes here. Make sure that's covering out everything. And I'm going to just cut a few of these slits throughout. And that'll be enough to allow them to get a corner. Take one of my new boxes. I just made these with the rabbited joints. Okay, I'm going to set that right on top. Okay, so the entire inside is covered by newspaper. And now I'm going to transfer this hive over. They're generally in the same spot. So most of those bees that are out foraging, it's a little early, so there's not many, should come back and join one of these nearby hives. So now, this is a food frame, a real thick food frame. We'll check one more time to see any sort of eggs or queen. I don't see anything there. Okay. This is a frame that she can lay on pretty quick, and then there's also some brood. So this hive should be doing pretty good. There's a couple frames of brood and then places that she can lay. So we'll move that one into the center. Same thing with this one. You got emerging brood on this. So we'll move that to the front. Looking again. Make sure there's no queen, no eggs. I have no signs that there's a queen in here. We'll put that there. Getting a little bit of brood. We'll move that to the center. And then a frame of food. We'll move this to the outside. So again, we're kind of building up that same brood nest in the middle, food on the outside. So now this box can come out. Now we're on to the next one. We'll start with the outside. There's not a whole lot here. So I'm going to move this here, second to the outside. This one, again, is ready to be laid out. There's some food there. So I'm going to move this one next to this brood. Checking again to make sure I don't see any eggs. No sign of a queen. That's all ready to be laid out. So that one is going to go here. I'm going to move these over. Okay. This one here is ready to be laid out. lastly, we'll take this frame. We'll put that right here. You can see the bees are now already kind of trying to figure out what's going on. They're in a new home. We'll take this box. And then we're going to take this bottom board. And now I want to find that inner cover. The nice part about these inner covers is I give them lots of room, whether I want to put a pollen patty or try not to squish too many. I can put a pollen patty, or I have room then to put that on top of the bees. And now put this cover back on. And these other bees will have to find their new entrance. All right, so it's pretty quick and simple. The biggest thing, I spent about a week making sure that there was no queen in there. I didn't think there was, but you just never know. There was enough time, if there was one, to go on mating flights, come back. And I'd say all in all, it was about close to 3 weeks. The remaining brood that was in there from was a previous queen. If you go back in the videos, you can see that. But now we took what essentially was 10 frames and 2 nuke boxes, and we combined them into this hive. So this bottom box is a very strong queen that we caught a couple weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, about a single box swarm, and now we combine them here. So really we're going to be boosting their population significantly. There was still some brood up top. There's brood down below. Hopefully that hatches out at different rates. And now maybe we'll get a fall nectar flow. But the biggest thing is hopefully we can get them strong enough to overwinter. So thanks for watching Z's Bees. That's how you do a hive combine with the newspaper method.